Hello everyone, this is Yu-Kai Chou, and today I'd like to talk to you a bit about the gamification framework Octalysis that I created. First, a bit about myself. So I've been working in gamification since 2003, and I published the Octalyisis Framework about 2 years ago, and since then it has become really popular. It was translated in over 10 different languages, and because of that, I had a lot of opportunities to do workshops for Accenture, speak at Stanford University, speak in South by Southwest. I have a TEDx talk that is fairly popular, and the reason why I created the Octalyisis framework was because I wanted good gamification design to be scalable. And when I looked in the market, there's a lot of concept theories out there, but still the problem is most people learn all these amazing frameworks and concepts in gamification, and they're still like, so what do I do with my product? What do I do with my experience design? And this is why I publish Octalysis, so people have something to go by in terms of every project. They can look through the 8 core drives. And so now we're going to kind of dive into the Octalysis framework, see what 8 core drives, and then hopefully you guys learn from this. So this is the Octalysis framework. Now keep in mind we're jam-packing a lot of content into a short video, so you won't really get everything we talk about, but at least you get a feel of what the framework is and how to make it useful. So at the core of this octagon shape, which is why it's called Octalysis, there are 8 core drives. And these are the 8 core drives that makes any game fun. And I believe that everything you do in or outside of games are based on one or more of these core drives. And so let's go through these 8 core drives quickly, and so when we understand that, we know how to design something that's engaging. So the first core drive is epic meaning and calling. And this is the core drive that says you're motivated because you feel like you're part of something bigger than yourself. And this is why people contribute to Wikipedia, not to make more money, not even to update their resumes, but because they feel like they're protecting humanity's knowledge, something bigger than themselves. The second core drive is development and accomplishment, which is the feeling of I'm improving, I'm leveling up, I'm achieving mastery. And this is where a lot of the points, badges, and leaderboards fall into. Tracking your progress, seeing your development towards a higher goal. Then the third core drive is empowerment of creativity and feedback, which is like Lego. You give users the basic building blocks, and there's an infinite amount of ways for people to utilize their creativity and try different combinations, try different strategies, see feedback, and go back and adjust. And that is a very engaging process. The fourth core drive is ownership and possession, which is the concept of because you feel like you own something, you want to improve it, you want to protect it, and you want to get more of it. And obviously this core drive powers a lot of the virtual goods and virtual economy point systems, but it's also the core drive that makes you want to accumulate wealth, as well as things like if you feel like you customize your profile to make it fit to you, or you customize your avatar, you feel more ownership towards it. Collection sets are another game mechanic that fits into the ownership and possession core drive. The next core drive is social influence and relatedness, which is the motivation that comes from what other people think, do, or say. And this relates to things like envy, mentorship, group quests, but it also deals with relatedness, which are things that make a connection to your emotional memory. So if you see a product that reminds you of your childhood, you have a higher chance of buying that product. And if you meet someone who's from the same hometown, then you have a higher chance of striking a deal with this person. The sixth core drive of gamification Octalysis is scarcity and impatience. This is a core drive that says you want something just because you can't have it. So if grapes are on the table, you don't care about those grapes. But if the grapes are just beyond your reach, you're always thinking about them. Oh, can I have those grapes? When can I have them? Are they even sweet? And so Facebook was powered by this core drive when it started. At the beginning, Facebook was only for Harvard students, and then it opened up to a few surrounding schools and Ivy League schools. And when it opened up to more and more schools, everyone wanted to join because they couldn't get in. That's the power of scarcity and impatience. Then there's unpredictability and curiosity, which is the concept of because you don't know what's going to happen next, you're always thinking about it. This core drive is obviously heavily employed in the gambling industry, but whenever you have a sweepstakes program or a lottery system, then you're using this core drive. It's also the core drive that makes you want to finish a novel or finish a movie. And there's a lot of research behind this core drive, the most famous being the Skinner box. Basically, scientists put an animal in a box, and there's a lever in the box. The first experiment is that whenever the animal presses the lever, food comes out. And what you'll see there is that an animal presses the lever until it's no longer hungry, which makes sense. It doesn't need food anymore. But when you change the design to the point where whenever the animal presses the lever, food may or may not come out, then what you'll see is the animal constantly pressing the lever, regardless if it's hungry or not, because it's always just messing with its head. Oh, will it come out? Will it come out? Will it come out? And there's a lot of misconceptions with the Skinner box and gamification. A lot of people think, oh, you know, the points, badges, and leaderboards, so that's just putting people in the Skinner box. And that's actually incorrect, because the Skinner box shows that core drive 7, unpredictability and curiosity, creates obsessive behavior, not the other stuff. And so that's something that, to be a good gamification person, you should probably clarify between which is the core drive that these scientific experiments are proving. The 8th core drive is loss and avoidance, which is fairly straightforward. You're doing something because you're avoiding a loss. You don't want bad things to happen. So these are the 8 core drives that motivate anyone to do anything. Everything you do is based on one or more of these 8 core drives, but it's arranged on an octagon shape for a reason. The left side core drives, I call them left brain core drives, which is symbolic, not necessarily biologically scientific, but they deal with things like logic, ownership, calculations. And the right brain core drives are things that deal more with creativity and social and the like. Now, interestingly, the left brain core drives deal more with extrinsic motivations. You know, if you want to get something, you want to accomplish a goal, you want something you can't have. Whereas the right brain core drives deal with more of the intrinsic motivations. Like, it's just fun to utilize your creativity. It is just more, you don't need a reward to hang with friends, and you don't need a reward necessarily to be in the suspense of unpredictability. And in fact, most people lose money slowly while in the casino, but they still had a great time because for the entire time they may have won. If you've noticed, the top core drives also are more positive. I call them white hat gamification core drives. So if you're always doing something because you are part of something bigger than yourself, you're achieving mastery, you are using your creativity, it feels very, very good, and you feel powerful and in control. The bottom core drives, I call them black hat gamification techniques. So if you're always doing something because you don't want something bad to happen, you can't have something, or because you just don't know what's going to happen next, it's still very, very powerful in motivation. You're still going to do the activities, but in the long run, it might leave a bad taste in your mouth, which is why I think Zynga is struggling right now. They really focused on black hat game techniques instead of the white hat ones. Now, just because something is called black hat doesn't mean it's necessarily bad. A lot of people voluntarily put themselves in black hat gamification in order to go to the gym more often or eat healthily. So, such as this alarm clock. This alarm clock is a clock that basically whenever you press the snooze button, it'll destroy your money. So now you're waking up because of core drive 8, loss and avoidance. You don't want to lose money, but because it's a goal that you want to accomplish, you're okay with it. So with Octalyisis Framework, once you understand how you want people to feel and you understand how they're feeling right now, that's when you go into the outer layer and figure out what game mechanics, game elements, game techniques are fit for that purpose. It could be virtual goods, it could be point-by dynamics, maybe it's group quests, maybe it's social treasure, maybe it's narrative. The point here is that good gamification design is never a cookie-cutter solution. It's not like just slap things on and it works. You really have to design things properly. And so once you have that framework, you can start analyzing different products out there and experience. You can understand why Facebook is engaging. It doesn't have as much epic median calling nor scarcity these days. Farmville, very predictable. And you can look at different things and see how can we improve the experience? How can we make it more exciting and more interesting? And so that's just level 1 Octalysis. There's actually 5 levels in total. Once you understand level 1 Octalysis, you can apply it to the 4 experience phases of a player's journey. Now in my framework, there's the 4 phases. Discovery, why do people even want to try out your experience? Onboarding, how do you teach them the tools to play the game? Scaffolding, the regular journey that allows people to do repetitive actions in a motivated fashion. And endgame, how do you retain your veterans? And once you, so all these phrases, you'll see how does motivation morph throughout the experience. And when you have no motivation, any one of these parts, then people drop out. There's no reason to move on to the next phase. So once you understand that, you can push it another level to level 3 Octalysis and apply it to the 4 player types, or different types of player types anyway. So this is Richard Bartle's 4, Achievers, Explorers, Socializers, and Killers. And so with this framework, you can understand a bit more about how different types of people feel at different stages and what motivates them to go into the next phase. Octalysis is also useful in understanding other frameworks. So there's the self-determination theory. It talks about competence, relatedness, autonomy. Some people add purpose to it. And if you think about it, competence obviously is accomplishment, empowerment of creativity, feedback is autonomy, relatedness, social influence, and purpose, obviously meaning. So this is a great framework that talks about positive motivation, but doesn't really explain why people are addicted to gambling, for instance, which is the dark side of motivation, the black hat game techniques that this theory doesn't really talk about. So with the Octalysis, you can understand, oh, wow, okay, self-determination theory is great, and it covers how to motivate people, employees, which is obviously more focused on the white hat stuff. You guys might have seen already Nicole Lazzaro's 4 keys to fun: hard fun, serious fun, people fun, easy fun, and you can understand Octalysis with that mindset too. Hard fun, combination of accomplishment and scarcity; easy fun, combination of empowerment of creativity, feedback, and unpredictability; serious fun is meaning, and people fun is obviously social influence. So there's a lot of stuff to understand through the Octalysis framework, and there's a lot of processes, but because this is just a quick course about intro of Octalysis, won't really go into detail, but I believe that it has been extremely helpful with everything I've done with people that have learned this framework, and I hope that at one point you will get to learn more about Octalysis and benefit your gamification design career. Thanks, and again, this is Yu-Kai Chou, and hopefully you learned something. Take care.